and gentlemen. Welcome to this episode of the Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories, an initiative by ET Edge. On this platform, we identify leaders and talk about their personal and professional journeys. We discuss about the traits and qualities that make these leaders stand out in the industry across various sectors and verticals. We are all aware of the fact that these leaders are known for their spectacular work, and when we think of them, work is what comes to our minds first. However, there is a long journey and many stories, that go behind the making of these successful people. On this platform, we try to bring out those stories and delve into their personal sides. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dimple Bajwa, your host for this session of the Cutting Chai Stories. And today I have been joined by a leader in the IT sector who has a vast global and entrepreneurial experience. He has been in a variety of roles, setting up new businesses and leading new initiatives. And he has also had an expansive career spanning more than 34 years. Without further ado, let me now welcome Mr. Parminder Singh, Chief Information Officer, The Guardian Life, Insurance Company of America. Thank you for joining us, sir. It is a pleasure to have you on our platform.
Thank you so much, Dimple, for your kind words. It's an honor to be on your platform and talking to all of you. Thank you.
Great. So let me start by asking you about your early days in your career. How were you back then, and how have you evolved in all these years? How would you describe this journey to me?
A brief background about me would be that, of course, I was born and raised in Delhi. Both my parents were teachers. I had a very disciplined life as a child. And in those days, the focus used to be on becoming either an engineer or a doctor. And the result was that I ended up becoming an engineer with my name on the honors board of both my school as well as the engineering college in Delhi. So, from that perspective, that was my childhood in terms of, I have two siblings. Both are very well settled. They now live in Delhi NCR with their families. And growing up, I was not just blessed with my brother and sister, but also had an extensive network of, extended family and friends. I mean, a large circle who helped groom me. So, that's the journey.
Mm-hmm. Great. So you mentioned that both your parents were teachers. Didn't you ever consider teaching as a profession?
Answer is, as a profession, no, but I have definitely taught a lot. I think from the class 11th, just share with you, class 10th, CBSE 10th grade, I secured very high marks in mathematics. I used to, then all the, the Mohalla Gali aunties wanted me to teach their children. And I taught a lot of my neighbors' kids who were actually 2 or 3 years younger to me. So from that perspective, I did teach, and I continue to do that. I continued to do that almost till I joined my first job, which was CCS. So I'll talk about it later. And, even now, as a professional, I do go back to institutions. I'm a visiting faculty with a few organizations. In the past, I have given lectures at IIT Delhi, IIT Hyderabad. Last month, it was with IIT Hyderabad. A couple of weeks ago, Amity International. I've Symbiosis. A couple of I teaching is something, as I mentioned. Both my parents were teachers. And teaching is something which is in the DNA, blood,
Right.
and I enjoy doing it whenever I get an opportunity.
Nice. That's good to know. Well, I've never liked maths. It has been one of the most difficult subjects for me.
Yeah, I'll share another interesting aspect of my childhood or growing up years. I actually, in 12th class, this was whatever 1983 or 84. In 12th class, I topped All India by securing 100% marks in 12th class mathematics, 100 out of 100. So that was yeah.
That's incredible.
Don't forget, my father was a maths teacher in my school. I was a student.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Something very interesting to know about you. So, was there anyone who has had a strong influence on you right from your formative years of your career, or maybe from your school or college days? Somebody whom you've always considered to be your mentor?
I think I was a very regular kid, very ordinary next door kid kind of a guy. Of course, I was good academically, as I mentioned earlier, but I had a very regular middle class childhood. From a mentor perspective, many. There were many mentors. Almost all my teachers had a very positive impact or influence in my growing years. And when I look back, I think I'm an amalgamation of multiple mentors and teachers, primary teachers from those years.
Probably that's maybe the person you are today. That's
All.
great to know. So, any specific incident, from your formative years again of your career that has stayed on with you forever as a learning, and you would be taking that incident with you forever?
Uh, I wouldn't say career. Early years, yes, I can share, the lesson that I learned from my parents. Both my parents were very hardworking and they were very punctual, very hardworking, punctual people. My father was extremely disciplined. He had a military background before he became a teacher, and so one of the early lesson that I learned from them was organization and planning. Being who they were, so they exposed me to different situations and settings which ultimately resulted in me becoming a very confident extrovert. So that's definitely a thing that I would like to mention from my past.
Right, right. So, there might be many people out there who would be looking onto you as a leader with a different set of leadership traits and leadership style. So you also mentioned punctuality, organization, and planning. Those are some skills, of course, that you have. So what leadership style or what leadership skill you would want your team to inherit from you?
It is a very interesting question. I really love this question because I do have a leadership model. It's called Andrea, Andrea, Andrea. Now, this is a model for leadership for change, something that I learned from Matt Crabtree. I mean, look him up. He's the chairman of Positive Momentum International, PMI. And I learned this lesson from Matt himself through my good friend and my ex-boss, Rajneesh Virmani. And full credits to Matt for coining that term. And it's very simple. These are 6 alphabets: A for active, N for natural, D for determined, R for responsive, E for enthusiastic, and second A for ambitious. So between being an active person, whether this is you're active and being getting to get seen internally, externally, engaging with people, like I'm right now engaged with you guys, writing blogs, meeting with colleagues, doing what we call knowledge nuggets, etc., tweeting, corporate, WhatsApping in the corporate group, etc. Being active, first dimension of the leadership. Second, being natural. Encouraging people to bring their whole natural self. By being natural, I also mean celebrating the diversity of everybody who works in the organization.
Right. That's very important.
I mean, that is extremely important.
Right.
One of the philosophy is JEDI, which is justice, equality, diversity, and inclusion. JEDI, a very popular concept. And we call it DNI here, diversity and inclusion. Again, I'm a Sikh. One of the basic sentiments of my religion are, Manas ki jaat sabe ek hai pehchan wo. Humanity, it's all one. We're all created from one God, in the sense that we all have one creator. So, that's so bringing that diversity and acknowledging and, and enabling people to bring their whole natural self. That's the
Mhm.
second trait of a good leader.
Right,
Third, of
right.
course, is D in the Andrea model, which is be determined, set very high expectations,
Mhm.
not only for others, for yourself
For
too.
yourself as well.
Yeah. So set very high expectations. I set very high expectations for myself, and I expect the same from others in the organization. So that's the D. R, being responsive. I mean, be available for when somebody pings you a message, respond. Somebody
Mhm.
sends you an email, internal email. I mean, I often say that to the team that internal email, get back within 4 working hours.
Right.
External email, you know, 24 hours or something like
Mhm.
that. So be responsive. I mean, each medium has its own thresholds for being responsive. And in the Andrea, the next one would be enthusiastic. So be enthusiastic. It makes a hell of a lot of difference on people's life. You got to enthuse people around you. You need to have that aura of
Right.
enthusiasm that not only attracts people towards you, but they are able to flock behind you
Mhm.
and are able to walk with you, behind you, in front of you. Basically, you take them together.
Right.
And the last dimension of the Andrea would be the second A, which is ambition or ambitious, being ambitious. So ambitious is to make it, whatever we do, make it fantastic. Whether it is your place of work or you're sitting with your friends or you're sitting with your relatives over a weekend, make it a fantastic place to enjoy, to provide that experience. When it comes to specifically the uh, organization, the work organization, an ambitious will be, uh, you know, carrying a vision, not just for myself, for my department, for my organization, and each one of the people that work, in my department.
Mhm.
So, being ambitious for them, carving out or being able to carve out or discuss and then execute uh, a strategy to kind of take them on their ambitious goal. So,
Right, right, right. That Andrea, that's I think a very interesting term that I've heard in a long time, and I think we're all going to take this forward with us, and it's always going to stay with me at least. It's a very interesting term that you shared and explained it so nicely. Thank you. So your career path has been very interesting. You worked with some really big organizations like American Express, Jubilant, Genpact, Wipro BPO, and TCS, to name a few here. Also, you have professional experience across 4 continents. How easy or how difficult was it for you to switch from one role to the other and adapt to a new location, new country, new continent?
see, I've been very fortunate to have had a very fulfilling career. I must have completed some 15 assignments, and I've lived, as you rightly said, I've lived in 4 continents in my career, which spans 34 plus years.
Mhm.
So, of course, I started my career with TCS. It was a campus hiring, by the way.
Wow.
So, if you ask me, uh, of course, TCS taught us the basics of programming and all those fundamental skills that are needed to do an IT job.
Mhm.
Then after 5 years with TCS, I moved to American Express, where American Express, again, being a very large multinational, global. In those days, it used to be global. It used to be Fortune 70, I think. In fact, in Amex or American Express, I did 3 distinct assignments with American Express. Started in India, then moved to American Express Australia, then came back to American Express India. So each time I moved to countries, it was very rewarding from a personal and professional growth perspective. In
Mhm.
fact, now when I look back and see uh, that this was when I was doing all this, or when we were doing all this. This was, the early days of this whole entire ITES or BPO industry, which got created in this process. What we were doing. For example, when I was part of American Express Australia, we built one of the first ODC, Offshore Development Center, in India in 1997. This we did to convert, all those mainframe programs to make them compliant with Y2K. You remember that problem? 1999, 2000, when 2000 was coming and people said, leave the
Briefly, yes.
YY will be zero and it'll have havoc. So I was part of that. We set up the first offshore development center in India in 96 or 97 to take care of that. But
Okay.
trust me, that was the start of the IT boom for India. So
Right.
having lived that journey, I consider myself to be extremely fortunate to have such a long and fulfilling career from that perspective.
Wow.
I then worked with several companies, like you said,
Mhm.
Genpact, Wipro, Nasdaq, Jubilant, in different capacities. And I grew up the IT ladder as I kind of progressed or evolved in my career.
Great. I think that's a great journey and a great evolution of you as a professional. But now, moving forward, we are going to focus more on your personal side. Leaders like
Ah,
you've been taking care of teams. You like you mentioned, you take your team along. Between all this, between all the work that you're doing, leading teams, taking care of the office work and everything, replying to all mails in time, how have you been managing to take out time for yourself?
uh, a lot of people ask me this question. I mean, a lot of people ask everybody this question. What is this work-life balance?
Yeah.
What
Yes,
you're
yes.
basically asking is, how do you maintain
Right, right.
your
Also,
work-life balance?
the lines between personal and professional life somehow it has blurred over the past 18 months because most of us are working from home and the work timings go beyond the actual work timings. So, how have you been able to maintain that balance?
You know, I personally don't think that okay, I don't think I have an issue with work-life balance. I
All
mean,
right.
I know I'm on camera.
No,
Uh,
no, that's fine.
Others are also listening. Some of my seniors will also probably get a copy of this, but I don't think I have an issue with work-life balance because I truly believe that one is an extension of other,
Right, right.
both ways. So the most important thing, however, is to indulge in activities that rejuvenate you.
Right.
Sometimes just sitting in front of your laptop, creating the next spreadsheet that you want to track some numbers is so satisfying. It's so, you know, uh, rejuvenating. So idea is to indulge in activities that rejuvenate you. And for me, it is something as simple as, having a good meal and Netflix with my wife. It rejuvenates me.
Wow,
So,
that's
so ideas to do. I know I read somewhere, pursue your dreams. Dreams are long term. Every day you live, have those small snippets, live them every day. You know, I don't
great.
think I personally have an issue with work-life balance. That would, I mean, I do put in long hours. I mean, as it is expected of any leader.
Right.
But I'm fortunate to not have those issues, and a very supporting and loving family. So I do get full support, both from the home side as well as from the office side. So very loving team, very loving family. It makes it easier for me to maintain
That's
that.
something very interesting that you told us. So you mentioned that you have a very supportive and loving family, and of course, office. So you mentioned about the rejuvenating activities that you do at
Hmm,
work.
hmm.
Apart from that, what other activities you indulge in with the family?
You know, um, my interests. I am musically inclined. Simply put,
Wow.
I especially enjoy shairi and Sufi
Uh-huh.
music.
Okay.
I used to play tabla instrument, you know.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. And haven't played it for a few 3 years, whatever. More actually. So I enjoy shairi a lot. I mean, I would often quote Ghalib Sahab often in the meetings where there are a few other like-minded colleagues of mine who appreciate and render such interests. So also, I love traveling.
Okay, great.
I like exploring good food.
Mhm.
I also like playing cards, especially around Diwali. You don't get time
Right.
otherwise. You don't make those plans other than the Diwali period. So these are some of the. But trust me, music is an element. It's a rhythm that keeps it going. Music is important. I'm very
Right.
musically inclined. Yeah.
Right.
And
I like.
some of the kirtan, I'm sorry, some of the kirtan that I that I listen to every morning. Morning when we start the day, we have this. These days, Darbar Sahib live comes in every home. You can connect to that channel on your whichever TV medium that you have, and you can listen to the Bani. So that's basically music flowing through your body and rejuvenating you.
Right, right. So I'm a Sikh myself. Whenever I
Oh,
visit my grandparents, I, uh, I mean, we always have that Golden Temple live that goes on, the kirtan that goes on every morning and every evening. I mean, they do play it on a regular basis. So
my
yeah, that's
house,
going
it
to be my
starts at
regular.
5 a.m. In my house, it starts at 5 a.m., goes on till 8 o'clock.
Right, right,
This is
right.
when yeah, this is when they turn over to Manji Saab for Katha.
Yes, yes.
Quarter
That
to
is
eight,
so
yes.
relatable.
7:45, then they switch over to the Katha. Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's
so
right.
this is something which is DNA for us.
Right.
So,
Yes, yes, totally. So you mentioned you like traveling. So I'm not sure if you've been traveling for the past, you've got the chance to travel for the past 18 months because of the pandemic. So what is that one place, on your bucket list that you would want to tick off next, the place that you would want to maybe visit as soon as, the restrictions ease down and once more people get vaccinated?
yeah, I was fortunate. I did get an opportunity to travel in March to Dubai. That's where my daughter lives and
Oh,
works.
wow.
Yeah, and this was more because we were all working from home. So I took that 1 month, uh, you know, workation or whatever that new term is, work come vacation. I work from home in Dubai,
Okay.
from my daughter's house, both me and my wife, and we did get experience the. This is fortunately before. So there was mayhem after that. There was fortunately before the whole wave 2 happened. Anyway,
Okay.
so one place I would like to visit. I've been to a few of the interesting locations. Three of them, maybe four of them are in the seven wonder list, including pyramids in Egypt, uh, right, which was in 2019. We had my whatever 50, I don't know, 50th whatever birthday there, and so I would, if you give me a chance, I would like to. Uh, Surely go back to Europe once again. I've been there a few times. As family, we've had a couple times long vacations in Europe, but it is very, very scenic, very, very scenic.
Right, right,
In
right.
one trip, you can get tons of experiences. Having said that, I more and more I explore, more and more I uh, um, experience back home in India. There are tons of places that offer, if not better than, the same quality of experience in India. The other year we were in Leh Ladakh,
Mhm.
that lake, that
Mhm.
Three Idiots Wala Lake.
Yes, yes, yes.
Trying to remember the name.
It's I think the
Yep,
Pangong Lake.
Pangong Lake. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Same day, same view. In one view, I was able to see four colors in that lake. I'm standing here, and this is something not even Switzerland gives you, or
Right,
Europe
right.
cannot give it to you. So there are a lot of beautiful things in India, and I would like to. I've been fortunate to see some of those, to be able to see some of those in my lifetime, and I don't mind exploring some more. So you can see the passion in me when you're talking about
I
travel.
do,
And
I do. Yes, of course.
you haven't started the food. I will start with chola bhaturas and other dishes of the world, but then that's for another time.
No, but do you also like cooking?
Uh, yeah, my cooking is restricted to, I think, in whatever years that I have under my belt, I probably would have cooked maybe twice. And this was, in the over enthusiasm during COVID days when you used to read these WhatsApp
Right, right, right.
encouragement. So I also got encouraged, and I think 2 weekends I cooked a dish each on each of those. I mean, for 2 weekends, Saturday, Sunday, I cooked, and I'm calling it cooking, but it was basically I, as a robo, was doing the executing the commands given by the head chef, my wife. So no, I know zero. I don't cook. I mean, I hardly go to kitchen.
All right. So you like relishing on the dishes.
Someone has to do that job,
Right, right. And I think most of us tried our hands at cooking during the lockdown period.
I have read about it. Yes, thank you. Not me. Um,
Okay, so one last question. Uh, I would want to know what does a day in Mr. Singh's life look like? I'm sure it'll include a lot of work, but still, I'm just curious to know what does a day in your life look like?
And the day for me has got four phases: before office, during office. Um, Third phase is office, but from home, because the jobs is such that even when you come back home in the evening, you're still connected, because I work for an American
Right.
organization, and we do have our meetings through the late
Mhm.
evenings India time. So that's the third phase. Fourth phase is when I switch off the devices, and I'm with myself and my family.
Mhm.
So any day is split into these four phases. Of course, weekends are slightly different because you have only one phase missing out of the four, which is that you don't go to office. Otherwise, pretty much you're spending some time with your laptop, which
Right.
is commonly known as my BV's Sotan in the house. So uh, otherwise, a day is typically 4 to 5 days in a week exercising when you get up, after a little meditation and a little gratitude to the God. Uh, Exercise a few days in a week. You know, quick checking of all the alerts, messages, emails that you have on your phone slash laptop. Quick getting ready, go to office,
Right.
packed day there, come back. But the day is packed, but it's packed with the fun as well. In the sense, so long as you enjoy what you're doing,
Mhm.
it is motivating. It is encouraging you to continue to execute at a speed and quality. So
Mhm.
rest of the evening is as I said, continue. If it's a weekday, continue with the calls, and then as I mentioned, good food in the evening, and sometime with TV and wife, Netflix and wife. So
So I believe
Netflix
you're
and wife. So
yes, right. So I believe you're in the third phase of the day right now.
I think it's the second phase continuing.
Really?
After this meeting, yeah, I'll start the third phase. You know,
Okay, you still have a long day, sir.
normally, yes.
All right. Thank you so much for those amazing answers. I thoroughly enjoyed today's conversation with you and loved the wit and humor. There is so much to learn from your experiences, and I really hope to connect with you sometime again in the future, Mr. Singh. Thank you for joining us today for the Cutting Chai Stories. This is Dimple Pajwa signing off. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Dimple, and thank you to the entire team for hosting me. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure, sir. Now, I would like to welcome Mr. Aditya Agarwal, Head Large Enterprise Lenovo India, to this conversation. I will leave the conversation to you two, but before that, I have one last question for both of you here. What are the challenges faced by the industry in 2021? Is there any innovation that we see, and how do we get prepared for the upcoming years? Mr. Singh.
You want me to go first? Challenges is it's a dynamically running world. I mean, things change at the speed of light now. Earlier in my earlier career, if something a new technology comes, it will kind of stay there for 10 to 15 years at least. But now it doesn't even hang around for not more than 15 months, so to say. I mean, I'm just kind of exaggerating it a bit, but just to bring home the point that there's so much happening. We're drinking from a water hose, so to say, in terms of what's changing around us. Challenges are to be able to compete with what's happening around us. When I talk on the other side of it, as organizations, there's so much of focus on information security. There was so much of on cyber security, not just on cyber security. So much of pressure on what somebody can call it survival. We keep hearing about how some of these companies are going under because of the recent because of their cyber threats to them, cyber attacks on them. So it's a continuous race with with our, chore pull is happening, you know, in that sense. So that's one of the biggest challenge.
Yep, I totally second you. I think the biggest challenge that we are seeing is security being, it was always important, but now it is even more important because people are working from homes. They are not in that protected environment, and there are several possibilities that can crop up. So we are seeing that second trend that we are seeing, which is a challenge for all of us, is that people want faster, cheaper, and smarter, all three at the same time, right? They are demanding much more. That's again something that we are seeing. And the third thing that we are seeing, where we have felt our customers as well as ourselves, is that people are telling us that, look, don't be in a reactive mode, be in a proactive mode. To give an example, if earlier people used to tell me that if my PC breaks down, please fix it immediately. Right now, people are saying that, hey, tell me when my PC is about to break down, so that there is no productivity loss there, because now productivity loss costs a lot, especially with the person sitting at home and so much logistics around, right? So those are the challenges that at least we are working on.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you for answering that question, Mr. Singh and Aditya.